Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the PaynePoints Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Harbuck, and with me today is Adria Marshall of Ecoslay. Adria, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, Sarah. Thank you for asking me to join you guys today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. Why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself to get us started?
Sure thing. So my name is Adria Marshall. I'm the founder and CEO of Ecoslay. We make natural and handmade hair products for textured girls and guys.
Good deal. Now, how long ago did you guys start this business?
We've been in business for about 6 years now.
Oh, wow.
We started the business in 2014. There wasn't a lot of movement until we released our Orange Marm a couple of years ago, and then things really started taking off for us.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let me ask you, you guys started this hair care company, and did you have a background in like biochemistry, or how does one start a hair care line with all that chemistry involved and all that know-how that putting products together in just the right way? So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure thing. It's fascinating because no, I do not have a chemistry degree or anything like that, but I do have curly hair. Yes. And so I have been struggling with my own curly hair for years. As a Black American, my mom put a relaxer in my hair early on. And when I was in college, money is a little tight. Right. And so you try to stretch your relaxer a little bit longer. Okay. And I noticed that I had curls under there. And so I became really fascinated with my own texture and began to try to experiment with different products to see what was working. And at that time, the natural movement really wasn't a thing. So there weren't a lot of products that were available for me. I tried a lot of products meant for white curly hair, and then some products for Black relaxed hair, but my hair wasn't either one of those. Right. So just after a lot of trial and error, I began to learn the ingredients on the back of the package really showed me if the product was going to work well for me. And so just a lot of trial and error investigation. I'm like, well, let me try to mix some aloe vera juice with marshmallow root to see what happens. And after a few years, I founded a company that does the same thing.
That is absolutely incredible. I discovered your products through my own hair care journey, trying to get my hair a little healthier and not, flat iron it to death every single day. And your product, the Orange Marmalade, which you just mentioned, was heavily mentioned within the Wavy Girl community as the holy grail product to buy. And so I stumbled upon your website and started looking around, and I love that all of your products are named after food. I think that's so great. But, it's a fun little twist. Anyway, so, I bought a trial size of like 4 of the products and was very excited to try that. I know you did not make these kind of products for someone like myself, but I thought, why not? Let's try this out. Let's do it. And I really loved everything I tried. A little bit goes a long way for me. So, but I love that everything just feels so natural and smells amazing. I also was reading on your website when I was there, browsing and shopping, that you make everything in your kitchen. And I think that sounds absolutely fascinating. So tell us how you manage that.
Well, the good thing is that now we have our own shop. And so for years, it was just me. And I had a full-time job. And so I would come home at night and mix up stuff. It was just a lot of fun. Yeah. But like I said, trial and error, seeing which ingredients work well with each other. It became a little bit taxing after I released Orange Marm, and it really started to take off. And so I had a full-time job as a project manager, and I would get up early in the morning and make some products. I would go to work at my real job and then come home and continue making products and fill orders. And so there were a few months between Labor Day of 2018 and April of 2019 where if if I got 3 hours of sleep, that was a good night. I mean, it was really crazy, but it was so much fun. And to your point, even though I didn't necessarily create the product for texture like yours, just being able to benefit so many ladies and guys of all different races and backgrounds has just been an added bonus.
Yeah. I imagine that feels good to see your product, intended for one market kind of seep into many markets and really break through into other demographics. And I mean, that's the goal, I think, for a lot of companies when they start something, like this, that kind of is small and then it just kind of blows up. Was it like Facebook groups or something online that just sort of triggered this explosion for you? Or did you think it still kind of happened more gradually over time?
No, it was, and I didn't think it would take off as fast as it took off or as quickly as it took off. And it took a while, but when it took off, it really rocketed. So yes, to answer your question, Facebook groups, and I don't think I understood the power of social media until then also. So I released Orange Marm. The good thing about being part of the natural and curly hair community for such a long period of time is that I have formed these relationships with influencers and other ladies and guys on social media. So when I released Orange Marm, I reached out to a friend. I watched her videos a lot, like, hey, try this. I think you will like it. And she fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And so she posted online. And it took off from there. And so the ladies started really liking it in their Facebook group. And the international success is one thing that I did not anticipate at all. And so what would happen is that because social media is an international thing, these ladies and guys really want the product to be available in their own countries. Mm-hmm. So they would reach out to their local curly shops and have them reach out to us, and that's how we began our wholesale market also.
That is absolutely incredible. To think you started as a fun little project in your kitchen and then it exploded into this gigantic industry almost, I think it's great. I know it's got to be challenging when you have a certain texture hair and literally everything on the market is catered to not you. And so, a lot of these things are born out of necessity. I've talked to so many women. We had a lady who made her own hand woven baby wraps because there wasn't a huge market for it. And she's just like, I'm going to go learn how to do this and do it and make them because, there's a hole here. And so I really love seeing that. When you got started, you said you were doing it kind of for fun for your own hair. Did you have a business plan that you started to kind of go, okay, well, this looks like a viable career? Did you come up with any kind of business plan or marketing strategy or a notebook of ideas you had?
Right. It is so funny. And I think it's because of my background in IT that I did not do that. Okay. And it's because as a project manager, I saw so many projects fail, the ones that had the heavy docs, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're going to conquer the world in 5 years, and because the world changes so fast, you cannot plan that far out. Yeah. So what I did do instead is I have a list of values, and those values I still live by today. Okay. And that is along the lines of kindness, outstanding customer service, creating products that are good for the environment, and the ingredients are good for you. So we live by those 4 values. And so I just guided my roadmap within those 4 values. And so as long as it lines up with those values, I keep going. If I am made an offer, there's an opportunity that comes my way that doesn't line up with those values, and I do not go any further with it.
That's great. I love that you built your company around these values you wrote down and determined this is the foundation of where I'm going to start. To some extent, I feel like that's way more successful than coming up with some very strategic business plan. If you stick to your values, I feel like that's a good way to go. I really like that. That's a great little anecdote. Now it's no longer just you. It looks like from your website you have a team of people. Do you want to talk about any of them right now and give a shout out to your right hand? Can't do it without them team.
Yes, absolutely. So without doubt, my right-hand girl is my daughter, Sydney. Aww. She was my second hire, and she has been with me since things started really taking off. I mentioned to you those painful months where I was up at all times of the night, and she was right there with me. Aww. We would be up in my bonus room pumping gel until 2 a.m. and then make a 3 a.m. trip down to the 24-hour post office every single day for months. And we were just exhausted, but it was so much fun. And this paid off in spades because I feel like I'm a better role model for her now. Like I hear her wanting to continue in our business, but also to begin her own business. And so I believe that although she saw that it's a lot of hard work, that it is possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. So she was your first hire. She was my first. She was my second hire. My first hire did not work out, but she was my second hire. Okay. Also, I would like to give a shout out to Chris. And so Chris has been with me for about a year and a half now, and Chris began in the shipping room, and he's now my assistant manager. And he is phenomenal. He keeps me straight. He tells me like it is. He does not sugarcoat anything. He says this will never work, and I really appreciate hearing that level of honesty, because I think my daughter may have a little trouble being totally honest at times, but Chris does not hold back, and I really appreciate that. You need those people who can keep you structured and can keep you grounded. You know, sometimes the creatives in this world have a hard time, staying on task. So that's great that you have such a great team around you. Is there anyone else that's, part of that inner circle?
So these two ladies I'm going to mention, these are new hires, but they have gotten our shipping act together quickly. So Nita and Joy are new to our shipping room. They've been with us only for a couple of weeks, but I've known Nita for a few years now. And out of thousands of orders that we shipped out over the past 3 weeks, they've only made a single mistake, which is phenomenal. They show up. They've gotten the shipping room clean and organized. Like everything is on a shelf, is labeled. It is spick and span, and these orders are going out timely, and they're going out perfect.
And so you're super organized.
But I'll tell you, my entire team is pretty phenomenal, though. So it's hard to just call out a few of them when they are all fantastic. They really make it a joy to come into work. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you, how many people do you have working for you guys?
Yeah, they are actually 8 of us now.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like a whole fleet of people.
Right.
Well, talking about your shipping, one of the things that I knew this before I ever ordered because of the Facebook communities that I'm a part of, but you send an email immediately after someone orders saying, hey, these products are made fresh in the kitchen. It's going to take a little bit of time, and then we'll get it shipped out to you ASAP. That's kind of it's sort of a risky move in today's world where everybody wants that thing, 2-day shipping and get it to my door in two seconds. And so how have you guys overcome that hurdle? Because, we're a very give it to me now society.
We are, and that was a very risky move. It's very good that you have brought that up, because that was a terrifying day that I made that decision. I want to say that was around February of 2019, where we were just getting inundated with orders. I had a full-time job, like I was telling you. I have 3 kids at home and a husband and a dog and a fish. And so it was not happening. And I was trying to get orders out within two to 3 days, just like we are accustomed to. And it was just not happening. And I am not sure I think it was a conversation with my husband, who is brilliant. And we talked about that my business is different than those businesses that I'm trying to compete with. That is not the same, and that I should take what is seen as a negative and turn it into a positive. Yeah. So we took the leap of faith, and I put that disclaimer on the website. I remember I was terrified, and that same day I got 84 orders. And so I said, wow, they really don't care if it's going to take a few extra days. They will wait for. And that I slept. That was the first night in months that I slept the whole night, because it just took such a weight off my shoulders.
That is awesome. I mean, it's taking those leaps of faith sometimes that really pay off. But here's the thing in my mind: if you are getting a good quality product, that takes time sometimes. You know, if you ask somebody to make you a handmade quilt, they can't pop it out in 2 days. You know, so if you're making something from scratch, handmade, that's fresh with no preservatives and very, you know, eco-friendly ingredients, I imagine that that's not something you can just whip together super fast. And so I really appreciate businesses who not only implement that model because of, you know, I think it's a good practice to have, but also, you know, making sure it's right there front and center. Hey, this is going to take some time. And I noticed that in my, you know, wavy hair and curly hair communities online, that nobody was deterred by that. That was like, yeah, you're just gonna have to wait a little bit, you know. And of course I placed the order. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for it to get here. You know, you just kind of, it's like a kid at Christmas. You just wait, you know.
Exactly. The anticipation is a good thing.
And thinking along those lines, what would you say, you know, what have been some of the bigger struggles or obstacles besides this, you know, production time limit that you guys have? Is there anything else? Any, you know, stereotypes you've had to break down, or anything that comes to mind there?
You know, the stereotypes are interesting. Those have been more fun. I mean, growing up as a Black girl in the engineering world, I've had to deal with stereotypes for 20, 30 years anyways. So I remember when I got my first job as a software developer, I was the only woman there. So I've gotten kind of accustomed to that. And even in my graduating class in computer science at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, I was one of few women there also. So I've gotten kind of used to breaking those down. So I wasn't daunted too much, you know, when I showed up to the warehouse to pick up all these bottles and boxes, and there wasn't anybody that looked like me, and eyes got wide a little bit. I kind of enjoy that, and enjoy to teach them also that, you know, the world is expanding, the world is changing, and really at the end of the day, we all want the same things anyways.
Definitely. I think it also opens us up to new perspectives. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I talked over you.
No. I think I'll talk over you too. But I do think that the biggest challenges that we face are around growth, around our scaling. I'm trying to learn to anticipate those growth spurts a little bit better. I think I'm getting better. The rice pudding launch caught me off guard. I did not expect it to be as successful as it was. So maybe I'm not getting as good as I thought I was getting. It is definitely a learning curve there, but it's been a lot of fun. But definitely trying to manage the growth, trying to scale the right way, trying to say that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. So those have been the things that have been the most challenging for me so far.
That's always tricky, I think, with any business is knowing how to scale at the right time. It's always going to be a little bit of a gamble. You know, you expect something to be super successful and it doesn't do as well as you thought. And then something else that you were like, it's probably not going to be the thing. And it just, boom, it explodes. Yes. So I think everybody has some measure of, you know, it's you know, a roll of the dice in a way. You just got to make the best decision you possibly can and hope that it's going to go the way you want. It looks like you guys are doing everything perfectly. Of course, I'm not in the thick of it with you, but I think a lot of businesses struggle with scaling. And so that's interesting that you brought that up, and I appreciate your candor in that answer. What aspect of your business has taught you the most about yourself, other than, you only need 3 hours of sleep?
Right. That was eye-opening. It was very eye-opening how little sleep I needed and how little money we needed. Because when I quit my full-time job to work on this company, I was not making even half the salary that I was making before. But we were really able to look at our finances and say, okay, we can cut this out, we can cut this out, we can move this over, and you will be surprised how little you really need to live and to be happy. So that was something that was fun to learn also. Another interesting thing to learn is I've always considered myself to be a person of faith. I was raised a Christian. I go to church, I read my Bible, I sing the songs, I do all of that stuff. But what is interesting is that when the rubber met the road, because I'm a planner, that really, more than leaning on my faith, I was leaning on myself to really plan my way out of things. But when it came to this business, it was all new to me. So there was no planning my way out of this. And so it really strengthened my faith. My prayers became much more deeper and meaningful. Like, dear Lord, I have no idea what I'm doing. How are we going to make it through today? Those were my sincere prayers. And the house was full of gospel music. My husband would come home and like, what's going on? We are going to make it today, one day at a time. So I will say that my faith today is definitely a lot firmer than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, anytime you can instill positivity like that, I'm just going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to, pray to God and hope it all works out today. And then,
exactly.
Whatever happened, it happened for a reason. I mean, being able to accept those changes and things that life throws at us. And, that I feel like that's a good thing to learn and, take into other aspects of your life. So that's great.
Right.
You guys have a fully functioning store website. So I'm assuming that's like one of the big tools for your business, obviously, so people can come shop and buy the products.
Yeah.
Is there any other tool that you guys, it's just like absolutely necessary for you guys? Social media or a specific machine or something that you guys use in the production? Tell us what your secret is.
Let me think. This is interesting. What tools? So definitely our store is great. We use Shopify, which is awesome. I love Shopify as a company. When I was at my previous job, we worked a lot with them, and I got to know them a lot as people as well as the software, and they're just a really great group of people to work with. Mm-hmm. Other than that, let me think if there's any major tools.
I mean, for an online business, that's a big one. The shop is the number one thing most people need to get their stuff out.
Really, it is. Like within our shop, we have some bottle fillers that we use to pump our gel and the products into the bottles. But I do think that our online tool is probably the most valuable as far as that goes.
Yeah.
It's the only thing coming to mind.
Well, I mean, sometimes people have like a little weird tidbit of trivia, and I'm always like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even think about that. When you guys came up with the name Ecoslay, it has, your tagline is slay your look, not the planet. And I love that. That's just so spicy and saucy, Was there any special reason why you decided to name the company that, other than, the meaning, or was there something else there that?
No, that was it. So I am a gardener. I love the environment. I love being out in nature as much as possible. So when I created our very first product, which was the bamboo edge brush, I did that for the specific reason that a lot of ladies were using a nylon bristle toothbrush to do their edges, and it was not environmentally friendly. So when I originally created the tagline, it was slay your edges, not the planet.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
when I decided to branch out into other products, I changed it to slay your look, not the planet.
Okay. So the first was, okay, I just want to clarify, was the first product you offered, was it the edge brush and not actually like hair care? Like
it was the first.
Wow,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And very few people know that. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yes, the first product was the edge brush.
Okay.
Yes.
And then after that, what was the very first like hair care product? Like the shampoo, the marmalade? I actually don't think that was.
Yes. So after the edge brush, I tried to make the edge gel, the applesauce. Okay. And it took a long time. And that's when I hired a chemist, and he is with me to the, you know what, I should give him a shout out. Shout out to Glenn, my chemist, who was phenomenal. And he gives me the truth too. Adria, this will never work. Yeah. He is awesome.
That's great.
Yes. So yeah, he's great. And so the next product that we tried to create was the applesauce, and it took about 6 months to create that. And so while working on that, in the background, I released the peppermint schnapps and the moonshine and the hot sauce. Yeah. And so those were the next three, and then we finally got the applesauce working. And then after applesauce, it was orange marm,
which is y'all's number one product at this point. I would assume that's the one that I see talked about.
It is
everywhere.
Mostly, yes.
Are you surprised?
And you know what? I'll tell you a fun fact. So I'm going to tell you a lot. Let me share this with you, Sarah.
Go for it.
So I actually tried to create a gel three different times prior to orange marmalade, and they failed. And I did not know what I was doing wrong. I couldn't figure it out. I knew all the ingredients that I wanted to be in it. I knew that they should work, but I did not know what I was doing because I am not a chemist. So once I started working with Glenn, and he helped me through the toils and tribulations of creating applesauce, I learned so much that I said, I'm going to try this one more time. And then I created orange marmalade over 2 weekends.
Oh, wow.
That's all it took, 2 weekends, because Glenn taught me so much about the right preservatives to use, about the pH values, about how certain ingredients work together with other ingredients. And after he taught me that, it was done. And yes, once I created orange marm, I said, I remember the day that I came out of the bathroom and I said, this is it. This is the best gel on the market. Like, regardless of the ingredients, which are phenomenal, this is the best gel on the market. It goes in well, it smells great, the hold is great, the shine is great, it rinses out clean, and the ingredients are phenomenal. So I knew it was the best, but I knew that the world did not know, but there was something in me that said that they will find out soon enough.
Yes. Well, girl, you were right, because there's not a single group or website I go to for curly and wavy hair that doesn't list your product as one of the must-haves. So that's incredible to do that in such a short time. And the fact that you did it over 2 weekends coming up with the formula, that's awesome. I love that.
It was crazy. Yeah.
I really like your products because of how they're not overwhelmingly scented. I don't like super strong smells, but I do like that little hint of fragrance, and they feel so like natural in your hands and on your hair and your hair. I never feel like anything super product-y after I've used it. And so I really do, again, I have to use it a teeny tiny bit, but the moonshine, and I don't even really use hair oil, but that stuff, it just smells, it's like,
great?
It smells like Christmas or something. I don't know. It's just so good. You just sit and sniff it all day.
It's my favorite product. Yes, it's my favorite. And
I use it to moisturize.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, and so I love using it when I'm in it. Well, once I get out of the shower, I love to use it right out of the shower. It's amazing. Yes. But also, you have to try to put a few drops in your bath. It is unbelievable as a bath oil.
I need to try that next time.
Yes, the whole bath smells incredible. Yeah.
Well, besides orange marmalade, what would you say is the biggest achievement that you guys have reached so far?
As far as
just in your company, or just whatever you personally think is your biggest achievement. Like you guys were featured in this particular magazine, or in this, this celebrity uses my product.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. We were in Forbes and Entertainment Tonight, and all that has been great. But by far, the best accomplishment is to build this team of people that I'm working with. By far, because I was a manager in the corporate world for so long, and I learned about building a strong team. But to be able to take those things that I learned and do it for myself has just been great. And I love these guys like family. Like now we have a 401k program and vacation time and all of these things that I work to put together for another person's company, to be able to put those in my own company. And then to see the looks on their faces, when I walk in every day, they're just happy to be here. They love the job. They love each other. I don't have to force them to come into work. I drive by on a Saturday, and I will see a car there, and they'll just be here working. And they really enjoy the job, and I think that's my proudest accomplishment.
I think that speaks a lot about you as an employer and as a person, that your employees will work for you on a Saturday without being told to, because they love their job so much, and that you consider your biggest achievement the team you've built versus the sales number or the money you bring in. That's awesome. I love that answer. So running a business is hard. Starting a business is hard. What advice would you give to someone that's starting a business like yours, or even something completely different, that you think would be helpful, that you wish you had known in the beginning?
By far, the biggest piece of advice that I give is to start small. Do not let your primary goal be to become a billionaire, to quit your job, to rule the world. If you have a small, attainable goal, then you'll work to meet it, and it will build the momentum, then you'll move on to the next goal. Your biggest proponent is your momentum. Mm-hmm. And when you lose momentum, because when you get that $1 billion idea, and everybody has a $1 billion idea, you get that $1 billion idea, you're so excited, you may spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe 2 months, really going forward. And then you don't see the results that you want, and so you start to slow down. It becomes less and less important. And the next thing you know, you haven't even thought about it in a month or two, and then a year or two. And so if you make that goal a small, achievable goal that you can reach within a reasonable period of time, then you will keep moving. I think there's a fire truck coming. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. We get them all the time. And when we record in the studio, there's trains going by constantly. So,
Okay, cool. So, and so great. And so the first goal that I had when I started the company was to build a set of products that worked for my own hair. And that was fantastic because it was not contingent on a single sale, which was great because I wasn't making any. Just like you were saying, you didn't even know that the edge brush was my very first product, because no one knew about my little company for 4 solid years.
Oh,
but
wow.
I knew that I was over here building products that I loved. Yes, and so from 2014 to 2018, no one knew about us until we released Orange Mom on Labor Day of 2018. But I have four products out that I loved. And so as long as I was creating products that I love and I continued it to be a success, I remember on social media when I made a post, I went back and looked at this post a while ago. I got a post and it got 7 likes. And Sarah, you could not tell me anything. I was like, oh my goodness, 7 people like what I have to say. I was over the moon. And so it really didn't matter as much about what other people felt. I didn't really need all that. I was just super excited that I was producing something that I liked, and it was a bonus that 7 people actually liked it too.
That's great.
And
I mean, so gotta start small somewhere, right? A little group here, and then boom, it blows into something else. I mean, hey, 7 likes, when you first start out, that's great. Some places don't even get that now.
So,
that's great. Yeah.
And so my first goal was to create a line of products that were meeting the needs of my own hair. Mm-hmm. And once I felt that I was gaining some traction there, then my next goal was to be an example to my girls, to be a positive example to them that they can have a dream, they can set some goals and reach their dream. And that, again, that wasn't dependent upon anybody in the outside world buying anything. All of that stuff happened in the background.
Right.
And so once it got to the point of where, hey, look, I'm making a little bit of money off of this, then the next goal after that point was for me to quit my job. But that didn't happen until 4.5 years in.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad about that because I felt that if I would have made that my first goal, that I would not have met that goal because it took such a long time for me to actually reach that.
Yeah. I think that's the problem some people have is setting small enough goals to, you want to be able to, you want to reach for the moon, but you got to make it realistic. You got to start and stair step up, incrementally. Because if you bite off too much in the beginning, you'll burn out. I mean, I've had that problem with certain jobs, or I just took on too much too fast, and you have really nowhere to go but come crashing down because you just, it's too many things to try to keep up with all at one time. I think that's really great advice, is to start small and build, get that one goal, and then, okay, let's make the next one. And then, climb that ladder over time versus, boom, let's just rock it on up there, which, sometimes social media helps us with that and then pushes things along. But realistically, for most people, that doesn't always happen. And I feel like, the curly hair thing for the whole spectrum of people kind of exploded this year for sure, because everybody was in quarantine. And so a lot of women I've seen were like, I didn't care what my hair looked like. I was like, I might as well try doing this with it. And it seems like a lot of people were just like super focused on that this year, like taking better care of themselves in all different ways, and including, maybe having healthier hair. And that, includes using certain types of products to keep it that way, make it that way. So, I feel like, this is a good business to be in right now, believe it or not.
Yeah, it has worked. Yes, it has worked out well for us. I was not expecting this at all. I didn't know how the pandemic was going to affect our business. I thought that our sales would go down because people wouldn't have as much of an expendable income to put towards these sorts of things. But it was the exact opposite. I think it was exactly what you're saying, is that a lot of ladies were like, well, I can't go to the salon to get a blowout, so let me figure out some options here. And so it has really worked. It's really worked well for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything that you might have done differently if you could go back and change something, or have you really liked the progression that's taken place?
So I'm going to answer that question, but I want to go back, if I may.
Sure.
I thought about a tool that I use that has been invaluable. If I can go back to that one.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Great. It is my passion planner.
Okay.
It's my passion planner. So I love the passion planner. You can get it on Amazon because it allows you to lay out your goals, your long-term goals and your short-term goals and your values, and for you to map your hours, your days, your weeks, your months, and your years to those goals. So I really feel that planner has helped to keep me on track. I was using that since Orange Mom blew up on Labor Day. Mm-hmm. I've been using it for the past two years, and it has kept me on task.
Well, that's good. I like that passion planner. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. It's like a physical book, right? That you can write in.
It's a physical book. Gotcha. Yes, a physical book, and you lay down your goals where you want to be in 5 years and 10 years in your lifetime, and then you can map those goals out to your daily, your weekly, your monthly tasks.
Okay, good deal. I like that. I mean, you plan for the future and hope for the best, but you also, these days, if anything, this year has taught me that you got to be flexible and bendable and moldable to new and different ways, and figuring out how to do things differently. Because we own a mom and pop coffee shop here in town, and my husband also has a hand poke tattoo studio, and so the tattoo shop was shut down for like 60 days during quarantine, and our coffee shop was shut down for a while, just because the entire downtown area just was dead, and having to figure out a different way to generate income, a different way to get people, interested in your business while they can't physically come to your business. So
right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. Okay. So yes, if we're going to go back to what would you do differently if you could, or did you like how you've progressed so far?
I was thinking about this question, and although I've made lots of mistakes, I really, and I do not want to go back to any of those mistakes, any of those periods. I don't want to go back to the period where I was going to the post office at 3 a.m. for 4 or 5 months. But I really appreciate the journey because it's taught me so much. So I can't say that I regret anything too much. I really appreciate all the lessons that I've learned through those hard periods. There have been some very hard periods, but I think I've done a reasonably good job of taking away some lessons and jotting those down within my planner that I can review each week and each month, also so that I don't repeat those things, the same mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's probably my philosophy as well. Kind of like, yes, I might have made these mistakes, but what did I learn from them? What can I continue to do going forward to avoid those kinds of things, and then maybe do it better? Or, and then of course you're gonna, as you look back, you go, okay, well, I can do this better. And it's always a journey. I feel like there's never a destination in your, so it's kind of a constant reevaluation every time, and you can kind of, oh, this was a major success. And then you get a year or two down the road, you go, well, we can do better than that, or we can do something else. And I think that's a good thing that's a good attitude to have when it comes to something like that. So you guys are based in Georgia, correct? Outside of Atlanta?
Yes.
Right. So I totally lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that, and now I'm like, I don't know. So you guys are really eco-friendly. You use a lot of eco-friendly products and ingredients in your products. And you guys also offer a recycling program on your website. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have a recycling program where after you finish using the products of your choice, that you can send me an email, and I will give you a paid return label for you to send that back to us, because not everyone has a recycling facility in their own city or county. If you do, you can please recycle yourself. But if you're not able to, then you can send your bottles back. We're happy to recycle those for you. And we do a count of those. And so after we reach 500 recycles, then we have a flash sale, which everybody goes crazy over. So it's nice to offer a little incentive for us to be a little bit kinder to the planet.
Yeah, I think that's really important these days, especially with literally things on fire everywhere, and really taking better care of how we, consume goods and how we dispose of those goods, and just being more responsible. I'm guilty of not always doing the best with that sort of thing, but anytime I come across a product where they are very, environmentally conscious like that, I'm like, okay, I need to support that, because I feel like that's part of life. We need to preserve our planet. And anytime a business wants to try to do some small piece to make that a reality, then, that's great. I think we should all try to do that. And I think it's great that your business is adding that little bit to the puzzle. And, we'll try to do better in the future, all of us. What does the future hold for you guys? Is there, besides, you guys just released a new product called rice pudding. Let's talk real quickly about that and what that product does, because it is y'all's newest thing.
Yeah. So I love rice pudding. It's trying to compete with my beloved moonshine. for my spot as favorite product. It is a close second. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And so it is a leave-in conditioner and moisturizer. It can be used on wet hair or on dry hair. It goes on. What I love about it, I can talk about this for days. What I love about it is that it soaks into your hair so easily. It's super lightweight, so it's great whether you're wavy, whether you're straight, or whether you are super coily and kinky even, because it's not going to weigh you down, but it's going to pack in all the moisture and protein that you need. And so it has the fermented rice water in it, which really makes your hair nice and strong, but it has 3 different moisturizers also that really deeply moisturize your hair. Prior to using rice pudding, I was using several other leave-ins on the market, which I thought were great. But when I started using rice pudding, my hair would stay nice and moisturized the entire week, and that's never happened with any other product. Plus, it smells phenomenal.
Yes, it is on my list to get, which I will be doing soon. It looked, I didn't get to get it when it released. I totally forgot. I think I was in the middle of something that particular weekend, but yeah, it looks really interesting. And I was always wary of using leave-ins because I was like, my hair's so fine, it's going to get weighed down. And since I started this whole method of taking care of my hair better and using products to enrich my hair, it's actually made a huge difference. And so I'm very curious to see how your leave-in works, and I'm going to have to get some very, very soon. But so you guys just came out with that. Is there anything else in the pipeline you want to maybe, share? Maybe not too many details if there is something, but, something that we can all look forward to.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we have some things up our sleeve for sure. I don't want to reveal too much.
Right.
We have some environmentally conscious new processes and techniques coming along your way. That's the most I can say.
Okay.
But,
that sounds great.
It's gonna be pretty exciting. Some ways that we're changing up the way that we package our products. It's gonna be very exciting. So I don't want to reveal too much, but you should be looking out for that around the spring or summer of next year.
Okay, that's great. I'm excited to wait and see what happens. I always love it when businesses, expand their business and do new things, and especially when I'm a fan, and I love what you guys are doing over there. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online and on social media, and yeah.
Sure. So our website is www.ecoslay.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ecoslay, and you can find us on Instagram at instagram.com/Ecoslay.
Good deal. Do you have any final thoughts for us today, Adria, that you want to leave us with, or any just parting message?
Sarah, I'm just really glad that we were able to do this. This is my very first podcast. I've really enjoyed it. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope your followers also enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I have enjoyed meeting you. It's always fun to me. I mean, to me, you guys are like little mini celebrities in my mind, and I'm like, oh, she agreed to do a podcast with me. It's so great. I want to talk to her because I love your stuff and I love what your company is doing, and I just love the message you guys are, kind of putting out into the universe. And I wish you guys all the success, and I look forward to seeing how your business grows. And thanks so much for coming on and telling us a little bit about your business. And now maybe people know a little bit more about where to get some eco-friendly hair care products, and hopefully people will check it out. And I'm looking forward to maybe working with you guys in the future and have you back on once you do all this new stuff next year. I would love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks guys for listening in today, and we'll see you next time.